Hey, second grade. So today is Sunday, actually. It's a dreary, rainy day, and we are just going to read through the rest of our Super Kids book. We have a few pages left, so I hope you're able to enjoy it with, and we'll see how we go here. So here we go. Looking for Golly.
Chapter 32. Looking for Golly. The Super Kids and Ms. Blossom did everything they could think of to find Golly. They searched the roads near the farm with Gus and Gert. They made posters and signs and put them up all over. They sent out email notices.
Boy, they have done everything to find Golly here. I wonder if they'll find him.
They telephoned neighbors. They visited animal shelters in case someone had found Golly and brought him in. They rode their bikes through town calling for Golly. They took turns sitting by the club bus in case Golly came there.
Well, so far they haven't found him. So the next section is called Tired, Lonely, and Sad.
Tired, lonely, and sad. And where was Golly? He was walking down a sidewalk next to a busy road. He had found his way to town, but he was just as lost as ever. Cars swished past, blowing grit and dust in his eyes. His paws were sore, and his legs were tired. But Golly walked on until at last the sun began to set. Then he collapsed in a heap next to a dumpster. As the sky became darker and the street went on, Golly felt more and more lonely and sad. He missed the safe, warm barn. He missed the comforting sounds of the animals. He missed the horses' gentle breathing. He missed the owls' soft hooting and the sheep sighing in their sleep. Here in town, it was never quiet. Cars honked and sirens blared. Often, Golly heard music and people laughing and talking and calling out to one another, but he never heard anyone calling out to him. Golly curled up and rested his nose on his paws. He was tired, hungry, thirsty, and lost. But Golly was a brave dog. As soon as the sun rose, he would start walking again, looking for the Super Kids. And he wouldn't stop until he found them.
Poor Golly. That is so sad. All right, the Super Kids float.
The Super Kids float. The Super Kids and Ms. Blossom were quiet while they decorated their float that Friday. The flowery float looked great, but no one could feel excited. They were all too sad about Golly. They were even sadder when they gathered at the float Saturday morning before the parade. "Look!" cried Etta Betta. "Our float is ruined!" "And we thought things couldn't get worse," moaned Sal. It had been very windy during the night, and their float was wrecked. The green streamers drooped in ripped shreds, and most of the yellow crepe paper blossoms had blown away. "What'll we do?" asked Icky as the kids pulled the ruined streamers off the float. "Should we forget about being in the parade?" "No," said Alf. "The contest is counting on us." "But we don't have time to decorate our float again," said Talk. "Let's not cry over spilled milk," said Miss Blossom. "We'll just have to make the best of it. Climb on up. Our float isn't a flop as long as we're on it."
That's a really great way to look at this for the Super Kids, isn't it? All right, the parade begins.
The parade begins. Boom! Thumped the drums in the marching band. Toot, toodle, toot! Honked the horns. Snap! Flapped the flags in the cool, brisk breeze. Hooray! Cheered the crowd that lined the streets. When the Super Kids float got to the judges' stand, it stopped, and the kids began to sing,
And so we're the Super Kids. Every single one of us is fabulous and marvelous and
Suddenly, woof, woof, came a wonderful, familiar bark. "What's that?" said Alf. Woof, woof, the bark came again. And then, bounding through the crowd came Golly! The Super Kids jumped off the float and ran to him. "Golly, golly, golly!" they exclaimed. They hugged him and petted him and hugged him some more. Golly wiggled and wriggled with joy. He licked the kids' faces and smiled his wide doggy smile. "Oh, Golly, we are so glad to see you," said Miss Blossom. "Come on, you can be on the float too."
That's so awesome that they found Golly, or Golly found them.
So Golly jumped up on the float, and the Super Kids took their places and sang their song louder than ever.
And so we're the Super Kids. Every single one of us is fabulous and marvelous and generous and courteous and mischievous and curious. And although there are a lot of us, there's not a hippopotamus. Well, Mortis is ridiculous. It's really quite conspicuous. We're just a troop of super
Well, I think you all are a bunch of super duper kids, and here we are at the very end of our book.
Goodbye. After the parade, Miss Blossom and the Super Kids gathered on the playground at school with Golly. "Where will Golly go now?" asked Talk. "He doesn't have to go back to the farm, does he?" asked Oswald. Alf added, "We don't want to have to say goodbye to him again." "I'm afraid you'll have to," said Miss Blossom. "In fact, you'll have to say goodbye to Golly and me. You'll be third graders next year." The Super Kids sighed sadly. Miss Blossom smiled. She knelt down and put her arm around Golly. "But you'll only have to say goodbye to Golly and me for the summer," she said. "I've decided that Golly is going to be my dog. He'll live at my house. When school starts up again in the fall, Golly can come to school with me sometimes and spend the day on the roof in the sunshine. You can visit him there. What do you think of that?" The Super Kids burst into cheers. "Hooray!" they cheered. "That's splendid! Just splendid!"
School's out. Have a great summer. Woof, woof. All right. Well, we are done with Super Kids. You don't have any more Super Kids work to do. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.